Anti-Society, welcome back to the Anti-Social Planet, and today we are checking out chapters 76 and 77 of Tower of God. Now, last couple of chapters, we had the fight rematch between Ran and Anaak. I definitely thought that Anaak would win. That was maybe just me being like loyal to her, like season 1 characters just have like a special place in my heart, and I wanted to believe that she could do it. But I liked that it wasn't just that she was like less powerful, that she was going up against this ability that Ran was showing off with the like trace thing, which is like suspiciously a lot like a Lororo that we've seen before with the like dot on the face thing, which I filed away. I don't know if it's relevant, but I filed it away for future reference. But I like that it wasn't just that she was going up against this ability that she didn't know anything about. It was also about her kind of having this flaw within herself of not being able to like think through a situation, right? So it wasn't just that she was outmatched from a power standpoint, because she does have a lot of power and ability and talent. Her problem is that she doesn't analyze the situation. She can't adjust to things that are going on as quickly as other people can. So that is like why she lost. It wasn't like who's more powerful, it's who has more strategy, who can use the other person's weaknesses to their advantage better. And Anaak just doesn't have that yet. So I liked that that was where the conflict kind of centered around, as opposed to just like who could punch harder, which I mean, sometimes that is also a cool fight, but I like that there was some more nuance to it. But we have like a few other little threads going on besides the fight. You know, obviously that's kind of like the main thing that's going on, but we have this beta person that is on the loose and are they talking with Bomb at the moment? I think that they are talking about being ignition weapons and all that kind of stuff. We have Hots wandering around somewhere, you know. We haven't looped back to that in a little bit. You know, we have like all these little things that are kind of going around. I mean, bringing up Lororo earlier, what's he up to? What are him and Quant doing? I don't know. They're kind of around as well. So it's lots of little things that I feel like are gonna all come to a head at some point. Probably not right away, but we'll get there, you know? Lots of things that I know could potentially be in this chapter. I think we'll probably be dealing with the aftermath of the fight with Ran and Anaak, and like the bets that were made there, and also probably getting into maybe what Bomb is what's going on with him. He's kind of doing some internal reflection and trying to figure out who he is. Lots of good stuff. Let's get into this chapter though, because I don't know if we're going to be in like intense action like the last couple, or if we're going to be doing lots of character plot stuff that just kind of like overwhelms me. We'll find out, you know? Yes, we had this, the living ignition weapon of it all, which stresses me out. That there are multiple, but also that just like rogue ones are talking to Bomb. I'm protective, so I mean, with a hat and sunglasses like that, he has to be dangerous, right? Okay, here's the thing. One, I love Teddy Bear, but he hasn't been around the experimentation for a while, so him saying it's ended doesn't mean that it has. Like, even if he was like still in the thick of being part of the experimentation back when he was still talking to like Bomb and Team Sweet and Sour and stuff like that, even if he was still part of the experiments, I don't really trust that he would know everything that was going on. I feel like there would still be stuff that they did not tell him. And then second, like, there were probably a bunch of other ignition weapons that were made along the way besides him. The other guy who is like his brother, but not really. Casino? There, we got there. Look, he's mean to my teddy bear, so I don't always remember his name. But there's probably like other ignition weapons made either before or after them, before the experiments ended. So I don't think they should be that shocking. Completed? That makes me nervous. Though there's like a title, another title associated with Bomb. Ooh, okay, no, I definitely don't want, look, I love Bomb, I really do, but awake the demon? Like, wake the demon up, it just seems like a bad thing, like a no-go. Like, look, I love Bomb, I really do. I think that he has the best interests at heart, like 99.9% of the time. I don't want any kind of like waking the devil-ness with him. It just seems dangerous, even though I'm sure that he could figure it out. I don't know, do we want him to? I don't know. I mean, I was pretty sure it had something to do with like ignition weapons. It was very cryptic, but okay. We have devils, we have sin, we have cryptic messages. I feel like also to some extent Bomb, like, I think subconsciously has more of an idea of what's going on, but he doesn't really know what to do with it if he like faced it head on, because it's been a lot, you know? I feel like he doesn't want to face all of it about himself yet. It was, oh no. Is that Parakeet? He's just like in the background. How's my girl doing though? Is she doing all right? I mean, all things considered. She should have just waited it out, honestly. But she's got some growth to do. That seems like a wound that should be attended to sooner rather than later. Look, out of all of the people to give someone a lesson on arrogance, I feel like Ran is not the right person. I feel like if there's anyone who maybe needs to rein in the arrogance, he's definitely on that list. He might not be the top, but he definitely is on that list. Are we still trying to have the last word? Oh, are we still fighting? We're still going. The flashback, though. It's true, though. She does have that whole thing about not running away again. Not wanting to feel powerless in that. I know we're talking about like she can't last long, but she doesn't have to last long given the time constraints of the fight. She just has to last long enough, which is probably where her thinking is coming from. But she'll keep going. That's a facial expression. She's fueled by rage, so pure rage. Especially if you're like, hey, you'll die if you're in this fight. She's like, okay, I'll just throw everything I have left at you then, because if I'm not trying to last a long time and I'm not trying to like survive after this, why not just put everything into it? Because there is no after to be worried about. I feel like that's like where her brain is at, where she's just like, all right, if this is it, I'm gonna go out swinging, and I'm gonna go out swinging with everything I've got. Ooh, can we talk about the composition of this shot with like the rocks and the water? Good job. Willpower is one word. I put stubbornness. I say that as somebody who is also very stubborn. Sometimes I'm just like, all right, we're doing this, and there's no other option. Just go for it. Interesting to say that she's not used to losing. I feel like because of what happened to her parents, that was like the ultimate loss. Like that is her like losing, and every time after that is her like not accepting any other outcome than winning. She does know what it's like to lose, and to lose something that's very important. So I feel like having this happen to her where she's gravely injured or is even like looking at death, she's like, I've already done that. You know, I've already had something that was worse that I lost. I've already had near-death experiences. So I don't think it would throw off her confidence as much as maybe he thinks. But he also doesn't know her backstory, so it's okay that he does not fully understand what's going through her head. It's just interesting to see how like Ran sees her, and then how I see her as a reader, because I spent more time with her and have backstory, and I kind of see her from a different perspective than he does. So I like getting to see kind of the insights of characters, like seeing her, and like even like other characters, like them giving kind of their thoughts that are very colored by who they are as characters and how much they know, or like what context they know the other character in. Are we taunting now? I mean, that might be enough to throw him off too. We had him kind of taunting her into fighting. I feel like it would work the other way around. Maybe not quite as much, because I feel like Ran doesn't have like the explosive anger, but I feel like it would work on him. I feel like telling him he can't do something means that he's gonna try. She's doing pretty good for a dying person, all things considered. Like, maybe not as good as she could have if she wasn't as injured. I don't know if she'll win, but she's doing pretty good. Do we need blow for blow? Is this gonna be like who's the last one standing moment? Agreed, they both are amazing. I like how they're just wrecking the stage too. Like just a complete disregard for where like kind of the stadium part ends and like the audience begins. They're just like, screw it, let's just keep fighting. Ooh, we got some scrapes up on his cheek. It's good. We're fighting back. Did we have people who were all in on Ran? That might, yeah, like, same kind of thing of like, I was gonna say it might not be as obvious who's gonna win, but I do think that Ran probably is gonna win. As much as I want it to be Anaak, I feel like she doesn't have enough in her to actually win, but she's just kind of going down swinging, which I respect. Yeah, like they said she didn't have enough to like reinforce her body, right? Like she's using all of her resources just to keep going, as opposed to using other abilities and stuff that she has. Like there's no strategy to what she's doing. She's just still going. Yeah, Ren probably is being more strategic though, if not necessarily thinking entirely clearly. It was a good points to Anaak for seeing the strategy he used earlier and using it against him. Like maybe that's not actually how her thought process happened, but the fact that she's using the same kind of thing that he used on her to her advantage, that's what we're talking about. Learning, growth, we like to see it. I like that you're not supposed to fall for that. Yeah, there's definitely a ticking clock on this one about who's going to be the last one standing. That's a cool shot too. The like vibrancy turned up on the colors. I like the kind of simplified color palettes too with the other people who are doing like the betting and stuff. Which one's gonna win? I don't know. Show me. Pericule, calm yourself. You're interrupting. I mean, I guess he is just trying to survive, which is his main goal, right? His main goal is survival. So I get it. How anticlimactic. I was expecting some kind of like epic last person standing kind of, maybe last person standing might be Pericule, you know? That might be the way that this works out. They're blocking it on me. Well, how am I supposed to read that? You can't glitch it out on me. I'm blind. Okay, thank you. Pause. Timeout. Timeout. Says who? I was all like, it's probably gonna be an ignition weapon. It's gonna be someone, which is messed up. We shouldn't be like selling and owning people. That's bad. So is the whole point of having him fight in this to like show off the prize? But what if he wins? Does everyone else know? I guess you can just ask Emily, so it's not like it's a well-kept secret. But why? Why would they give up Violet? Isn't he important? I have many questions. I feel like I don't understand FUG half of the time. I don't understand what they're going for. I don't understand the strategy, and maybe that's because they are kind of still kind of like a shadowy figure where we know some of the members, but they only know like some of the information, and they're only doing some of the like the jobs to like get to the end goal. And I feel like it's probably deliberate, like a whole system like FUG. I'm sure that they don't want everyone to have all the information, and they want it to be spread out enough where like lots of people have like a tiny bit of the information so that it's hard for people to piece together what's going on. So it's like you have like random puzzle pieces, but you don't know what the puzzle's picture is, and you don't know if any of those pieces actually fit together or if they're like completely different ends of the puzzle. So you're just like trying to figure it out, and you just have to hope that you collect something that's like important and you can start to piece something together. I'm sure that that's probably like a deliberate strategy, especially like even plot-wise. It makes sense to confuse me because it means that I'll just keep coming back, which well played. But I feel like I don't totally get it all the time. I feel like they confuse me consistently, and I'm just like, but why though? That's true too, of like people have there are different groups even within it. True, like different people of FUG are motivated by different things too, and they're trying to do different things. It seems weird to have like the two sides though, of like there are members of FUG that see Bomb as their god and he's super important and they would not give him up for anything, and then there's the other side that like just see him as a tool to like manipulate and like a bargaining chip. Basically that's what it seems to be, is that they're just like, I can get something better. I guess maybe that's like my whole thing, is I'm like, what is the benefit that they get out of having Violet be the prize that's better than having Violet? That's my question. It's probably out there, I just don't know about it yet. Yeah, he's still locked up, isn't he? This is a plot thread that we left for a while. Because Endorsi's just like not really been a focal point for a little bit. I feel like you shouldn't be just saying anyone. I mean, some of those names are kind of dangerous to be invoking. Hello, disembodied voice. Oh dear, are there a bunch of you? Are there just a ton of people that have been asked? I mean, she might have just put out a message all around and been like, this will reach someone who will come and save me. I mean, y'all aren't doing a very good job at saving her if this is what's going on. My brain just went, but what if it's a trap? Like, what if it's, let's find people who will come to us of their own free will because they think that they're saving this person, and now we have all these people that we can experiment on. Am I too suspicious? Possibly, but I've also been wronged before in the series, so the truth, oh god. I don't know if I want to know, but I don't want to know. Hats, what up? I was wondering when we get back to you. I like that that's how he's going. Like, his thought process is immediately, what if I get attacked? That's honestly probably good, given the kind of people that are around at the moment. You are not weak. You're just gonna have to figure it out. I know that the sword's important, it has like symbolic value and that kind of a thing, but you'll figure this out. I believe in you. Well, that seems a little terrifying. I don't know if I want to go towards that. What's whirling? What is up here? Camera, robot, person? I don't even know anymore. I'm nervous about the whole thing. Okay, we got one of these. At least we're not on the ladder anymore. We could have been attacked on the ladder. So glass partly full. Is the necklace important? Is that what we need to put in the door to open it? I was wondering about the necklace before. I kept noticing it. Were we given the necklace? Is it important for this? Is it a trap? Is it a whole thing to get someone like Hats into the right place at the right time, or the wrong place at the wrong time, depending on which side of the encounter you're on? Oh my goodness. Does it have like engines on it? I guess if it's like a robot, then sure. I like that we're being scrappy, resourceful. We like to see it. Very dramatic though. I feel like this is gonna be one of those things where he finds out that like it doesn't matter what weapon he uses, it's like the skill set that he has. So the fact that he's just picking up like a random bar and he's using that as a weapon is gonna be, it's gonna prove that he like still can fight regardless of what weapon he's using, because he's worked so hard on improving his skills that as long as he has something that fits into the skills that he's trained himself with, it doesn't matter what he's using, which I think will be a good confidence boost. Good, good. We're thinking through the possible downsides of the weapon and we're using it to our advantage. See, you got this. Well, okay. Recalibrating. It's fine. You'll figure it out, but be safe. I really like the like red orange that's going on though, in comparison with all the like grays and blacks in the background. It just makes my brain happy. Yeah, you got this. You might just be a human, but you have lots of good skills. It's very intimidating. That's a cool shot too, with all the highlights and stuff, kind of like shadow effect of him like activating his ability. It's a very long title for your attack, but go for it. Do we aim for the eye? Probably a good choice. Oh no, definitely don't be around it when it self-destructs. Hello? Who are you? Who's helping it so that it doesn't self-destruct? Do we know you? I don't feel like I do, but maybe we'll get a reveal. Yes, I would like to know who the guy is too. I second this. Hey, I was just talking about you. Look at me being like, hey, I'd like us to close the loop on Hot's story. And then I was like, Lororo is in my head. Look at me knowing things. Pat myself on the back for predicting that one. Sometimes I just say things and it turns out well. Other times I don't know what I'm talking about, but oh, I'm so happy to see him. We've only seen like little glimpses. Where's Quant though? He's somewhere, isn't he? Probably doing something. Oh, I'm so happy right now. I was not expecting us to have more going on with the Anaak fight. It was a little anticlimactic, but I feel like also it really shows how evenly matched they are and how similar they are, right? Because I've said that from the beginning, is like they feel so similar to each other that it almost feels right. That they had some kind of tie, that it wasn't determined in like both like fights that they've had so far. It feels like they shouldn't be able to defeat each other. It's like they balance each other out, so they just like end up in this standstill at the middle. And I think that that's because of their similarities in like personality, but also because I feel like it would be so nice if they teamed up. You know, like I want them to be friends. I want them to like not be fighting each other. It just fascinates me to see these two sides of like the same coin in a lot of ways, and getting to see them fight and how it like brings out different things of like pride and arrogance and what that means, but also like stubbornness and I mean that all like in the most positive way possible, you know, like having confidence in yourself because you need to, because the option to fail or to not be enough is not an option because of their upbringing, because of the things that they've gone through. You know, we have Anaak's backstory of what happened to her parents, where losing is not an option because she already knows what it's like to lose everything. And I'm sure that Ran has a similar thing, especially being from the Kun family. I'm sure that failure was something that he was not allowed to do, that his family and what he was trying to accomplish, or what they were trying to accomplish, meant that he could not lose. It's something that we've seen with, like, you know, our Kun as well, of losing isn't his repertoire, you know, and it really messes him up when he feels like he has lost. You know, when he lost his team before, it took him a while to kind of get his feet under him again, because failure is not something that he takes lightly. It's not something that's been trained into him, and it's not something that he feels like he can do, right? Like he doesn't feel like he can have failure be something in his life because of his upbringing, and even just like trying to prove himself. And within something like the Kun family and all of the, I'm sure, like politics and awfulness that I'm sure goes along with being in that family, I feel like there's something to prove, right? Like if you want people to care about you within that family, you have to prove that you're useful, that you're important. And I feel like that's both where like Kun and Ran are coming from, is I need to prove that I'm important enough for people to actually give me at least a little bit of attention, at least make me seem like I matter. And I'm sure that there's like a whole bunch of trauma mixed up with that as well. I'm still kind of reeling from the fact that Violet is going to be the prize. I feel like that's going to motivate him definitely to win now because he wants to like own himself, which he should already do, but I guess that is not what we're doing right now. We have all of the Emily rescuers, which I feel like is some kind of plan. It might be innocent in the way of like Emily could have just been, let me reach the most people as possible and ask for help, and hopefully someone will be able to help me and hope for the best. But it could also be a trap. It could also be to like get a bunch of people in one place, especially since we know that they've been experimenting on people. You know, that makes me nervous. I like that Hats is figuring some stuff out with like him not needing a specific weapon. It's just whatever he has, he can make that into a sword. He can make that into a weapon because it's him that is the fighter. It's him that knows how to use the weapon. You know, you can have one of the best weapons in the world. If you give it to somebody who isn't trained with it, it's not going to be the most powerful weapon in the world. If you give something like a random pipe to someone who has a bunch of skills, it will be a weapon that can be used against other people, right? It's the skills of the person who has the weapon that makes it into something that can be dangerous or not so much, but also like maybe don't put weapons in unskilled hands because that can be its own kind of danger, but that's my health and safety message for this. And of course Lorobo showing up, because the moment that I mentioned him, I might have said his name too many times and I summoned him into being. I'm so happy that he's shown up. I knew that he was kind of around, but it's nice to see him being a little bit more forward with him being there, and hopefully we'll be a little more directly involved into what's going on. I just feel more comforted that there's an adult around. There's a lot of young people who are just trying to figure out what is even going on and who the players are and who to be wary of. And I like that there's an adult who maybe knows a little bit more about what's going on around. It just makes me slightly more comforted. But also a little bit worried, because if someone like the Roro needs to be around, I feel like it's getting more intense, you know? Like, he wouldn't need to be here if this was gonna be easy. Lots of thoughts at the end of those last couple of chapters. I hope you enjoyed reading those along with me. You can click those plays to go and see my previous reactions, or you can subscribe so next time I post a Tower of God video, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!